Well, hello there, Talking Ash here. And you notice I got a new face here with me. You know, Michael's AWOL.
He's AWOL. So you know what? I'm Tom from Altadis and blame Barletta. That's
why not? They blame him, and I think this is going to really up the show's ratings, views, everything now. So you know, I think we
might not see Michael back.
Maybe not. You know,
maybe he'll be the guest star.
We'll make him the cameraman. How about that?
We'll put him to work,
right?
It's not like he does well at poker night to be here anyway.
Exactly.
Did I say that out loud?
That's good though.
No, thanks for having me. It's always good to be
good.
hanging out.
Yeah, and we'll get in with Tom. I don't know if there's a guy out there that knows more about cigars, blends, and everything than Tom here. And I'm not just saying that, but he could really educate us. But first, I want to start with going with the new St. Louis Rey Serenus Ultramar. Did I say that right, Tom?
St. Louis Careñas Ultramar.
Careñas Ultramar, right? Just released in the last few weeks.
Yep, just started shipping to the retail trade maybe about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we got them in at our shops now. Mm-hmm. And but you know, it's I just lit up the Robusto I'm smoking, you know, $10.50 a stick, very reasonable. Boxes of 20.
Yep, 20 count box.
$156 a box. I mean, you're really saving some coin there. You know, now you're down eight and change for quality Robusto.
Nowadays, you know, some people are a little price conscious.
Oh, yeah.
In the St. Louis Rey brand, you know, it's a nice budget-friendly cigar, but it's still a handmade cigar, premium tobaccos. The blend on this particular one uses a Nicaraguan wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and then Nicaraguan and Honduran tobacco in the filler. Our blending team rates it as a medium plus. So, you know, you see what you think as you kind of burn through it a little bit.
Yeah.
See if it matches that, because, you know, everybody's palate's different. Some guys, you could say it's a bold cigar, and, so.
It's not right. Like me, I'm a mild medium. Mm-hmm. I'll go a little bit more than medium as long as it's not too bitey or anything like that. But, no, so far, this is really starting out real nice here.
So that's the follow-up cigar to the original St. Louis Careñas, which came out a few years ago. The cigar itself was kind of a tribute cigar. If you notice on the band when Tommy showed you the image, it kind of uses some of the colors of Spain, paying tribute back in the day of the seafaring days when, you know, product was shipped from Cuba to Spain or vice versa, and Ultramar, you know, Spanish overseas. You know, kind of like a tribute to the people that braved the elements at that time in those sailing ships.
Right.
So, you know, it's kind of a tribute. And, you know, it takes a place on our St. Louis Rey line, which, of course, the original St. Louis Rey, especially the tight Maduro, very popular with the guys here at Poker Night.
Yeah, it's the most popular size.
And then we have our Series G, and now we have the Careñas line in the St. Louis Rey portfolio.
I think this is really going to be a winner on this one here. And then what sizes is this one?
So the original launch started with 4 sizes, Corona, Robusto, Toro, and of course a Magnum.
Right.
So, you know, and then depending on how the line goes, you know, marketing may have designs for another size down the road, but for 4 facings at a launch is a good, respectable amount.
And those sizes is what everybody's looking for anyway.
It pretty much hits on the big sizes.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have added a Torpedo or a Bellicoso into the mix, but did you really need to? Mm-mm. You know, you have the smaller cigars for the guys that might want a shorter amount of time. You have the bigger ring gauge for the guys that like the 660s. And, of course, everybody, you know, the Toro is like one of the best-selling sizes overall in pretty much any brand.
Any brand. It's a Toro all day long. With that. So, little history here with Tom. So, you've been with Altadis now. How long have you been with Altadis?
Just over 14 years.
All right, so 14 years. But here's a little fun fact about Tom, if I must say. He was a cigar geek before he worked for Altadis.
Yep.
So, when you had that opportunity, I'm not sure, I don't remember the whole story, how that came about. Yeah. The territory was open, and you interviewed, I'm sure, for an application, whatever that process was, then you got hired. That had to be like, what was that like? Like, that had got to be the dream job.
It was a dream job. And ironically, the day I found out I got the job, I belonged to a cigar club in New Jersey. I was on a cruise with those guys.
Oh.
And I had gotten the call that morning. And those of you that are in the industry or might remember Gene Tipton.
Who didn't? I mean,
Gene's calling me that morning while I'm on the ship. And fortunately, my cell was working, so I was able to take the call. Right. And I was on cloud 9 the rest of the day. And then, you know, I remember the first time when my divisional manager at the time, Timmy, who everybody knows, Tim Person,
especially around here, because Tim was up in this
Tim
area.
covered this area
for
back
a long
when
time.
he was a rep.
Everybody knows Tim.
And he takes me into Michael's store when you guys still had the store in the mall.
Let me just tell a quick story about Tim, though, because he was in this area, and I also had, you know, the catering business.
Mm-hmm.
So when Tim was always in the area, of course, he'd visit our shops, and he would stop at the catering, and he became our unauthorized and all taster when we were doing new menu items. If he said, "What do you got for me here to taste today?"
Oh, that's funny.
But he's a really good guy.
Have a meal, have a cigar.
Right? There was nothing better than
Yep.
that.
And, you know, even before I started, he takes me into the Wyoming Valley Mall when you guys
Oh,
had
yeah.
the store up there. And Michael sees me with Tim, and he's like, "Hey, he's one of my customers." And it's like, well, now we can do
So
both.
we gained a salesman and lost a customer. Well, not as much of a customer.
You still got a customer out of it. And,
Right.
And now I've been taking care of you guys for 14 years.
Yeah, it's that long already.
It has
God.
been, and we're on the cusp of another poker night. We've been running those here at Smoke Rings just over 6 years
Cheers.
already.
Yeah, it's been going well.
A
That's
very
a fun
popular
night.
event. You know, it's a little different than a standard selling event. It gives the guys a night out. You guys have the great place to do it. They can come in, they play cards, they buy cigars, get the chance to win cigars. For any misconception, they keep the cigars they buy, so they're not gambling with those. They get chips to play a regular Texas
Exactly.
Hold'em tournament. You know, they can enjoy the beverages from the bar. You guys are always very generous with either Brews and Bites night, or you get some food.
Oh,
brought
we're
in
ordering
for 'em.
pizza, strombolis, and all when we do our break.
And it's a night out.
Yeah,
It's a night out.
And it's not like it's a real competitive cutthroat game. I mean, yeah, guys, you want to win, of course.
Yeah.
but it's just playing and busting balls and
having a good
having
time,
fun.
and smoking cigars,
Yeah.
and doing so in a nice
Yeah.
spot. So yeah, it's been great.
So now, after 14 years, you started, and I'm sure it took you a little while to get acclimated on what you're, but now you're in the groove and doing
Oh, yeah.
it. What's the thing you like most about what you're doing right now?
The fact that every day is a different day. I mean, the routine itself, you know, going from store to store, visiting with my shop owners, that's kind of the pattern. But every interaction is different. Every store is different. You know, I'm introducing new products. We're taking care of inventory for what they might have on current needs on the existing brands. You know, helping them set up promotions. You know, maybe doing events if they're the store that does, you know, in-store events. So it's always a variety. Plus, you know, I'm out. I cover all of Eastern Pennsylvania, so from State College all the way to the border, and then north and south. So it's always a different spot, always a different place to be, and just doing what I love, which is, you know, talking about and handling the cigar business.
Yeah, right. How
So-
about it? You know, that's really good going from side. And do you see a big difference because you're like a shop out, like you said, from State College all the way out to the border on. They sell different brands of cigars. You see a big difference in that?
Some
From
areas,
area to area?
the market is really, really different. 2012, 2013, I forget the exact year. It tends to blend after a while, but we introduced the H. Upmann Banker cigar.
Oh, yeah.
Had two shops that were relatively close to each other. Both brought it in, new cigar. They wanted to have it on their shelves. Store A starts calling me about 2 weeks later. We need more. We need more. Store B, I go back to see him a month later. Oh, that new cigar's really not doing anything. What can we do? 3 miles apart.
How about it?
And, you know, both were at the proper pricing, so it wasn't
Yeah.
like one was over, you know, suggested retail, but just one customer base over another. One really took to it, and they needed more right away, and the
Yeah.
other ones were like, maybe too bold, maybe too strong.
Yeah, but don't you think something like that is, as you know, the guys in the store that are there pushing it, maybe a couple of the guys working in that shop smoked the cigar, really liked it,
Yeah.
and really got behind it and said, hey, you know, their customers, you really gotta,
It's always
you
a
gotta try
possibility.
that. That's always a big thing too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the shops that I call in always promote the new products, whether it's our company or other companies. Some will have a
Oh, yeah.
new arrivals table, or they'll put little, you know, stars or danglers, you know, within the humidor to let customer base know what's new.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you see this, when customers come into the store, everybody has their favorites that they go to. But there's always that question when they're talking to the guy behind the counter or in the humidor, well, what's new? They might have read about it in one of the trade magazines. They might have seen it online, and now they want to try it.
Absolutely.
You know, and nowadays with social media and all the, you know, there's that constant information coming out to where if you're interested in new cigars and you're not just stuck on the one thing that you always smoke, you know, the information is there. Then all you do is, I saw this on Half Wheel. Do you have this? And, you know, shops like yours and the progressive shops that bring in the new items, yes, we do. There it is. And
That's
Yeah.
one thing I always said. Like now, there's so many great cigars.
Yeah.
Out there, no matter what company it is,
Oh, yeah.
and there's so much great. It's a great time to be a cigar smoker.
Yeah.
Prices are reasonable. I mean, we were selling cigars 15 years ago for more than we're selling the cigars now, and the quality of the products coming out right now
Yeah.
is unheard of. So now, my next question for you:
Sure.
What's your top 3 cigars?
Mine personally?
Your personal.
My personally,
What you smoke.
out of our portfolio, my favorite cigar, we came out with this in 2019, and it jumped right to the top, is the Trinidad Espiritu Series 1. This is an all Nicaraguan blend that AJ Fernandez does for us. It's one of our many collaborative cigars that we do with AJ in his factory. Coincidentally, because I'm very partial to Nicaraguan tobacco, number 2 on the list, the Monte Cristo Nicaraguan, also by AJ. Not quite as, in my palate, as spicy and peppery as the Trinidad, but still right up there for a good solid smoke.
Right.
And then the third one actually came out of our group at the Maestros many years ago, was our Monte Cristo Epic. That used an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan, and had Nicaraguan and Dominican in it, but a very good solid smoke. Now, when we first came out with that one, we were using vintage tobacco, so we knew long term it wasn't going to be able to be on the market forever because we only had so much tobacco that was aged at the time for that. But certainly enjoyed it while we had that out. And then, like anything else, as one goes away, we introduced the Epic Vintage 12, which used 12-year aged tobacco and keeps the line going.
Right. So is it safe to say you smoke them 3 cigars every day?
I don't get the Epic as much as I like, but the Trinidads I always make sure I have a good supply.
You put one.
Oh yeah.
You ain't missing one of them.
Oh, yeah.
So one last question, Tom, if you feel comfortable answering.
Sure.
How many cigars do you average a day?
So I'll put a little disclaimer in. It depends on the day. It depends on the type of stores I'm visiting. But I am always good for at least probably 5 a day. There's always one in the car starting the day, one on the way home. There's always one in the evening. My wife and I, she'll smoke a cigar with
nice.
me. We'll have cigars and wine. Some of the shops that I call on are not smoking environments. So, you're going in there just to do business, but
Yeah.
you're not able to partake with the cigar. But the other shops that I visit will sit, will smoke, introduce something new. So that adds to the daily run.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice
Yeah.
average, though, 5,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's good.
Especially when it's nice out like
Oh,
now. It's
beautiful
easy
days.
to smoke. You can sit anywhere.
I mean, this is the time of
smoke
year
this-
for it.
Oh
I mean,
my
I hear
God.
this from my retailers. People are out golfing, they're barbecuing, they're having
Or just
cigar-
sitting outside. I
Sitting
mean, I
outside
do that
at
all the
night.
time.
Yeah.
I came home from work today before, and I just sat on the front porch. I smoked a little Corona. And
Yeah, and then you'll have more tonight with
yeah,
poker.
a couple more tonight now. But anyway, well, thanks for joining us
Oh, my
this
pleasure.
time, Tom.
Yeah.
And like I said, this guy, any event, you got to come and talk. If you want to know anything about cigars, blends, he's your guy.
Yep, appreciate
But
you having me here. Thank you.
Anytime. Thanks again, and this might be our new guy. I think Michael.
Blaine
he's getting
Barletta.
demoted. He's going to get demoted on this
He's
one.
out. He's
Till
out.
next time, guys.
Have
Thanks.
a good one. Stay smoky.